All right. What's up, everybody? How you doing out there? This is Micah Dobbins, host of the Micah Dobbins Show. I want to welcome you guys to a brand new episode of Breaking News. Hopefully, you already have seen the subjects and you're ready to dive right into the stories. But before we do, I want to make a couple of announcements. First off, please subscribe to the channel. We have over 500 subscribers right now at the Micah Dobbins Show YouTube channel. We want to see that go up. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers. So I need you guys to go right now and subscribe to the channel, hit like, hit the notification bell, all of that wonderful jazz right there. Also, if you see the Cashapp, you could donate to Cashapp, the Micah Dobbins Show. I would greatly appreciate you guys donating and helping me keep this thing going. So by all means, feel free to donate to the show, as well as to pick up the products that you can find on my website, themicahdobbinsshow.com. That means if you want to buy my book, you want to buy the mug, you want to buy the t-shirts, whatever it is, every dime helps as we're trying to continue to grow and spread news about the channel. We're going to be coming out with a new line of t-shirts. I would love for you guys to wear those while you're out and about. And shout out to our new platform, Judah TV. We will be airing our content through Judah TV, so we want you guys to be a part of that movement. We actually have a GoFundMe. Also, Judah TV, there's a GoFundMe for those who want to help the network to grow and to build. And I really appreciate you guys for all the help and for the support. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get ready to break into a couple of stories today. We're gonna jump right in. I want to talk about a story that came out of Georgia that is just insane to me. So we're going to go ahead and start with that story. And if you guys are looking at the screen, you should see a couple of knuckleheads that just popped up and a house that appears to be like blown out. So I'm going to go ahead and just share this story with you guys. 2 Georgia men are indicted on charges of setting off a bomb at a woman's home and plotting to release a python to eat her daughter. You can't make this stuff up. This is so crazy. And shout out to my sister-in-law, Laquita, who was one of the first ones I saw sharing this story. And later on, it started making like NBC News and other rounds. But basically, it says the men allegedly used the internet to find the victim's home and plotted to mail dog feces to the resident, shoot arrows at her front door, and eventually release a snake inside. And if that isn't the craziest backwood hillbilly thing that you have ever heard of, that's insane. But only in Georgia. We have some of the craziest things that happen out here. So basically, 2 Georgia men are federally indicted in connection with a sinister plot. They alleged last year they hatched plans to release a python to devour the daughter of one of their exes. So I know there are people who hate their ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, or wives, or whatever the case may be. But this is new level crazy. You're actually going to put your hands, I don't care if you can get gloves, to mail dog feces and shoot arrows at a woman's door and then try to stick a python on her child. I don't know how that was going to work. But nonetheless, this is one of the most insanely idiotic things probably I've heard in some time. So Stephen Gosler, 37, and Caleb Kinsley, 34, of Richmond Hill, Georgia, were arrested February 2023 on charges of setting off a homemade bomb at the home of a woman who one of them had a previous relationship with. On Thursday, they were indicted on multiple federal charges related to the bombing and their alleged plot, which included mailing dog feces to the ex-homes, releasing a snake in her residence, and scalping her. So these crazy jokers was going to try to cut her head off or scalp her on top of all this. I mean, does the insanity ever stop people? It says they plotted to acquire and release a large python into the victim's home to eat the victim's daughter. So I guess the little girl was just going to just be laying there. I mean, I don't know, but this kind of story right here is just mind-boggling that people would actually think they could do these things and get away with these things, especially with all the social media, the technology, cell phone pings, cameras, doorbell cameras. If you look at the house, it's a pretty nice sized home. More than likely that whole neighborhood had an HOA and people watching. So I don't know how these guys thought they were going to get away with this, but it was one of the dumbest things that I've read or heard in a while. It said the men face charges including stalking, conspiracy to use an explosive to commit a felony, use of an explosive to commit another felony offense, possession of an unregistered device. Kinsley was further charged with false statements during the purchase of a firearm and possession of firearms by a convicted felon. The men had the victim under surveillance from December 2022 to January 2023 with the intent to kill, injure, harass, and intimidate. Wow. It said they conspired to shoot arrows at her front door, mail dog feces or dead rats to the victim's homes, scalp her, and blow up her home. They located her home using internet searches, mapped out a path to her residence, prosecutors said. Kinsley then acquired and built an explosive device using tannerite, which he purportedly purchased online. The two used it to blow up the victim's home January 13, 2023. Like I said, this is one of the craziest stories that I've heard in a while. And Gosler and Kinsey are basically right now in custody. They're awaiting the further court proceedings. Basically what's going to happen is if convicted with the conspiracy charges and all the things have a statutory penalty of up to 20 years in prison, the charge of using an explosive to commit a felony carries a penalty of an additional 10 years. So these are federal charges, meaning these guys are not going to get parole. Chances are when they get the book thrown at them for this insanity, it is a wrap. And like I said, if you look at the house, it's a pretty nice size home. I don't understand how they're going to get away with it. Bro, move on. I know there are some bitter, hurt exes out there, people who may have dated people and, you know, you just can't let go. Sometimes you gotta let go. It's over, okay? It's over. And if you're crazy enough to try to buy a python to kill someone's daughter, Lord, I don't know what that woman's stories probably are gonna be that comes out in court of some of the ignorant drama, things that probably spewed from this guy's mouth and out of his mind. But nonetheless, good for them. They're locked up and they're going to get a lot of time for this crazy crime. I just wanted to share that first opening story with you guys because like I said, that right there was insane, a crazy plot. Who would have thought? But hey, only in Georgia, right? We have a lot of things that go on in the Peach State, and that right there is one of the craziest. So I had to share that story with you guys. If you can, comment in the comment section. Have you ever dated a crazy ex or had like a crazy relationship that didn't end right? I want to hear about it. Go ahead and drop it in the comments. Go ahead and leave it in the chat. Let's talk about it. I personally remember a situation. I had a crazy couple of situations actually. For those who know me, I've never been one to like do violence when it comes to relationships. I'm like, yo, if I gotta fight you, I don't want to be with you. That's just my thing. So I remember I had a situation where this crazy person bit me where two of their teeth had actually came out in my arm. And that was probably one of the craziest relationships that I recall. I had another one that was a little cuckoo, you know, they tried to stab me with a pair of scissors before. And, you know, that was just insane. And luckily for me, I've always had witnesses with me, homeboys and people there that could see that, hey, you know, I wasn't on no rah-rah, I didn't do nothing crazy. I just was like, yo, get away from me, you loony chick. But at any rate, if you have a crazy ex story, you want to go ahead and hear about it, go ahead and leave it in the chat. And we're going to go ahead and get ready to jump into our next story. This one is a little serious, guys. I'm like still tripping off of it personally myself, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. So this story, basically what was going on was a man who was 61 years old, Harvey Murphy Jr. Of California, but originally was living in Texas. He says that the AI, artificial intelligence, and facial recognition software falsely ID'd him for robbing a sunglass hut, and he ended up going to jail. And the story gets worse from that, guys. Not only did he go to jail, he got assaulted. And this was done by Glasses Hut, and it was Macy's store. And I'm going to go ahead and just read this story from NBC News. It says a 61-year-old man living in California was wrongfully accused of robbing a sunglass hut in Texas, arrested, and then sexually assaulted by inmates after facial recognition software falsely identified him as a suspect. Now, this is crazy. I'm just going to pause right quick. They were saying that AI, that facial recognition software, tends to make mistakes when it comes to like people of color and women in particular. It can mix people up. You know, they say we all look alike, but seriously, you have to be careful with this whole AI technology thing, because that little thing's like pew, 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 you know, trying to do this little matrix thing. And before you know it, you could be catching a case because the AI says it was you. You look like that guy. And I mean, shoot, how long before we get to Minority Report? We're like, hey, if you thought about the crime, we can foretell we're going to come check you based off your search histories or something. It's a little sci-fi, a little crazy. But anyway, let's get back to this story. On January 22nd of 2022, two armed men threatened a store manager and associate and stole thousands of dollars in cash and merchandise from a sunglass hut in Houston, according to a lawsuit filed January 18th in the Harris County District Courts. One of the men demanded all the money, while the other grabbed many pairs of sunglasses as he could, the suit alleges. The manager and the associate were then forced into the back of the store while the robbers fled. So it says the lawsuit accuses the head of loss prevention, the parent company for Sunglass Hut, of using artificial intelligence and facial recognition software to identify Harvey Murphy Jr. as a suspect. It says the company compared unclear security footage to Murphy's mugshots from the 1980s when he was convicted for non-violent burglaries. So basically it went through AI, you know, combing through social media, whatever. In this case, it was combing through mugshots from the 80s. And poof, this guy robbed before, was non-violent. Look like a match? Look like a match? Yeah, let's get him. I mean, despite it being the 80s, mind you, and this robbery took place way later, but at the exact same time that the robbery was going on, Murphy was 2,000 miles away in Sacramento, California, where he lived. The charges were ultimately dropped, but the damage had already been done. Mr. Murphy's story is troubling for every citizen in this country, his attorney, Daniel Duco, said in a statement. Any person can be improperly charged with a crime based on error-prone facial recognition software, just as he was. Now, this guy's honestly is like a worst nightmare scenario. It's scary when you think about it. I mean, AI could say, hey, it was you. And from what I read earlier in the story, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of share it. Mr. Murphy was headed back to Texas after living in California for a period. And as he was going to the DMV to get his ID, that was when, as he was preparing to get his ID, that the officer, you know, ding, 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 let the officer know in the back, hey, this is the guy with a warrant out, and he got arrested on the spot. So could you imagine his bewilderment or confusion when you're there to get your ID, and then it's like, oh, by the way, you're charged with armed robbery. What? Who I robbed? When that happened? Yeah, you know, it happened not too long ago. We got you on camera. No, that wasn't me. I was in California then. Whatever, bro. Hands behind your back. Let's go. So he ended up being arrested and pretty much got locked up. And this is the tragic part. When he was in the jail, he was beaten and gang raped and left with permanent and lifelong injuries. So, I mean, as if it isn't bad enough that, you know, you're already in jail at 61 years old, knowing you didn't do it. And a few hours before your release, you're followed in the bathroom by 3 violent criminals, forced to the ground, assaulted, and attacked. This is just insane. And it's crazy because when you think about it, you know, why would you, I guess because it was an armed robbery, they figured put him up there with the violent offenders, but that's just one of the craziest things, you know, and like I said, it's a nightmare, just the thought that, hey, you could be falsely accused of something and end up getting this time. So his lawsuit included Alessio Lexcata and Macy as the defendants, the store Macy's. The Sunglasses Hut, that's the company that basically handles their AI software and their loss prevention. And it says he's seeking $10 million for negligence, malicious prosecution, false imprisonment, and gross negligence. Woo! Hopefully he gets that 10 million, y'all. I think it should be more. If you've been assaulted in jail due to AI and Macy's mistake, bro, I want more than 10 million. But, you know, if he gets the 10 million, that's great. You know, God bless him. That is just a little bit crazy. I mean, what do y'all think about that? I mean, I know a lot of people are into the AI thing, you know, the software, the Chat GPT, and all these new things, and this is really good. I mean, I'm not an old fogey. I'm for technology, but at some point we do have to have some kind of guardrails or safety measures. I've heard stories where people have used people's voices and done, like, not only like how they do the deep fake videos, they did deep fake audios where they were able to try to get a mother to send money for her daughter that was in college, trying to make her afraid that something happened to her kid. And it just so happened that when she called, her daughter's like, nah, I'm fine, I'm in school, nothing happened. But, you know, these kind of things, you know, kind of make you go, while we're looking at all this technology and how great it is, things could be a little scary. You got to be a little careful out there, folks. So just want to kind of break into that story. I'm going to go ahead and run a quick ad, if that's all right with you guys. We're going to run an ad for COGCA. That is the Church of God Christian Academy. And we're going to go ahead and run it right now. Here we go. All right. We are back. We are back at the Micah Dobbins Show. Make sure you guys check out that Cashapp, the Micah Dobbins Show. Also, Judah TV, we have a GoFundMe. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow all the social media, Instagram, and all the rest of that good old stuff. X, it was formerly known as Twitter. Wherever you find the Micah Dobbins Show, we would love you guys to continue to partake of this content. You can also check out our podcast. It should be on Spotify, Apple, and every other platform out there that you guys want to consume podcasts on. All right. And make sure you check out our store, themicahdobbinsshow.com. You know, buy some merchandise, judahtv.com. Support the movement, guys. I really appreciate it. And there's no amount too small that you can give. So whatever you want to donate, hey, if you're like, man, Mike, I enjoy the show, go ahead and just drop something on your boy. Help me get some more coffee up in here, because everybody who knows me know I love my coffee. All right. With that being said, now let's go ahead and get into a couple of other stories. So far we've covered, you know, a few others, but I want to go ahead and get into some other stuff right quick. We're going to jump into this story right here, which is pretty interesting to me. Shout out to Ricardo and all my sports fans out there. And I know you guys are probably riled up about this one, because this is y'all's homie. This is y'all's man. You know, anybody who's a Laker fan should know the Lakers had a Kobe Bryant statue that they unveiled, and nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? The Mamba. I gotta be honest. When I was a young cat coming up, I was, you know, a Michael Jordan fan. That was like our guy. So we were crazy about Jordan. And I actually met Kobe Bryant back at the NSYNC Celebrity Game that was in Atlanta. I want to say around 99-ish, 2000. I gotta remember what year that was. One of those years. I got to look it up to be sure. But at any rate, they had the NSYNC Celebrity Game at the Georgia State. It was at their basketball gym at the time. And got to meet Kobe Bryant actually over at a place called Planet Hollywood that we used to have in Atlanta. They no longer have that Planet Hollywood. It's now like some kind of other place down there across the street from the Hard Rock Cafe. But when it was there, many people came through. MTV was filming. You had NSYNC, you had Shanice, you had Flex, you had members of Blackstreet. I think they got hanging with Mr. Cooper. It was a singing group that was signed to Alan Henderson, who played for the Hawks record label called Mass Appeal, that I would tour and do shows with. And back then, yours truly was on there as an entertainer, and the young Kobe Bryant was actually there. And next time I bring up a Kobe story, I'll try to bring that footage where I could show you guys, because I got him slam dunking and playing. Mace was there. He had just recently announced his retirement from rap that year, and Mace tried to, you know, ball out, but Kobe had them handles for him and stopped him a couple of times, as I recall. But nonetheless, I was a Jordan fan. I really was late to the Kobe party. I'll be honest. What made me appreciate Kobe more so is when I started like hearing the stories about the Mamba mentality. I was like, okay, this guy was definitely on the level when it came to focus and determination. I love the documentary about the Redeem Team, where, you know, Kobe was discussed by different teammates, be it, you know, AI, Allen Iverson, be it LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and many other Paul Gasol talked about how he ran through them. Like, all of that was pretty interesting, as well as Carmelo Anthony in the game. It was pretty dope just to hear how Kobe was able to motivate those guys, help those guys to realize they got to step their game up. And I believe that's one of the things that kind of propelled LeBron into his laser-like focus in the game. But at any rate, let me go ahead and read this story, because this was crazy to me that the Los Angeles Lakers and the city of LA would have made a mistake on this. It says they're planning to fix a handful of errors at the base of the statue of Kobe Bryant unveiled last month outside their arena. The names of the former NBA players, Jose Calderon and Von Wafer, were misspelled on the base of the rendering of the box score from Bryant's 81-point game in January 2006, along with the misspelling of the phrase "coach's decision." There are also minor formatting mistakes in another spot on the base of the statue, which displays many of Bryant's accomplishments. We've been aware of this for a few weeks, and we're already getting to work to get it corrected soon, the Lakers said in a statement. The box score is carved into the marble base of the 19-foot bronze statue, which depicts Bryant in his post-game celebration of the second highest scoring game in NBA history. Hundreds of fans gather daily around the statue, which sits among several statues honoring other Los Angeles sporting greats in front of their arena. So, I mean, I think it's pretty good. You know what I mean? They're doing, the statue is the first of 3 renderings of Bryant that will stand outside their downtown arena, according to his widow Vanessa. The Lakers unveiled the first statue February 8th to honor Bryant, who died along with his daughter Gianna and 7 others in a helicopter crash in January 2020. Bryant played his entire 20-year career with the Lakers, winning 5 championships. He is the 4th leading scorer in NBA history. So just shout out to his family and all those who have been trying to uphold his legacy. You know, greatness is great. You got to acknowledge it where it is. And 5 championships, it's no joke. The man did 20 years with one team. I was glad he was able to get those with Shaq, and later on glad to get those on his own. Now, I will say this, when it was the Lakers versus Philly, me and my homies was really pulling for AI. I know y'all was a long shot, but we wanted Allen Iverson to try to do some things. And that boy could hoop, man. I love to see how him and Lou got caught up, and he just did the little step over and everything. But nonetheless, shout out, like I said, to the Black Mamba, and hopefully they get that statue corrected and resolved. Like I said, and what's your favorite Kobe story? That's something I want to know. If you guys have a Kobe story, I shared earlier about meeting him at the Instinct Celebrity Game. The thing that stood out to me was like, yo, this dude is mad tall in person, you know. And that was the same thing with Allen Henderson. When, like, if you look him up, Allen Henderson is almost like 7 foot or something. It's crazy. So like, all of these guys are huge. The TV really doesn't know justice until you actually walk up on them. I remember one time in Lenox Mall, me and a homie was walking through, and we ended up running into like Dikembe Mutombo. No, big Dikembe. And it's like, this dude is huge, man. So if you guys have any stories about, you know, different NBA people you may have met, or maybe you got a story about Kobe, something that he did that inspired you, maybe it was a quote, go ahead and drop it in the comments, share it. I would love to hear it, and we'll check it out. So we covered that one. I want to get into another story right quick. This story is going to take a different turn. Guys, get ready, because it is an election year. We are here, 2024, and it looks like it's going to be Biden versus Trump round 2. If you saw Rocky 1, Rocky 2 is upon us, guys. We have a sequel. So with that being said, I'm going to share a little bit of information right now. Both men actually came to Georgia after Biden did his State of the Union address. They had an event in Atlanta, Georgia for Biden, and in Rome, Georgia for Trump. And both of them were able to speak about what they're going to do for the country and how they plan to make things better for all of us, the constituents and the people around. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and get into the story, and I'm going to play a little audio for you guys so you can kind of hear some of what they say is going on. All right, with this new one, here we go.
President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump in dueling campaign rallies this weekend, both rivals in the critical swing state of Georgia, laying out the stakes for this election.
Our freedoms are literally on the ballot this November.
The president aiming to lock in the image of a feisty commander-in-chief projected at his State of the Union address. Biden continuing the themes raised, the fight for democracy and reinstating Roe v. Wade and increasing taxes on the wealthy. Biden pointing to his predecessor who is rallying in Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's district.
All right.
Our new poll, completed after Biden's address last week, shows Trump holding a 3-point lead over the president. But 30% say they trust neither candidate. Biden's campaign launching a $30 million ad blitz, touting his accomplishments and joking about his age.
Look, I'm not a young guy. That's no secret.
A day after the president's visit to the swing state of Pennsylvania.
But here's the deal. I understand how to get things done for the American people.
President Biden in New Hampshire today, where he's...
All right. That's enough of that. So at any rate, I'm going to go ahead and just give you guys more information on the story. So as you heard it, yes, both men were in Georgia. Both men had launched their campaigns. Biden saying pretty much, hey, if you guys give me a Congress and a Senate, I'm going to overturn Roe v. Wade. We're going to make everything back to where it was before. We're going to, tax the rich and hopefully, give money to all you guys out there. And then Trump, on the other hand, is letting people know, hey, if I get in, I'm going to fix the economy. It's going to be prosperity for all. And we're going to go ahead and lock down that border. We're going to get control of some of the chaos that's been going on in some of our states. And that's pretty much the bag of where we're at. So just going by those polling numbers, Trump is leading right now. We see Biden and him are very close. And then there's that 30% margin of those that don't know what they're going to do just yet. I suspect what's going to end up happening is these people are going to start to speak out more and project more the closer we get to November. Right now, we had a lot of court cases going on with the former president. So they're waiting for some of those things to clear out to see what the outcome is going to be. The Supreme Court has a decision to make weighing down. They made one a couple of weeks ago or days ago that was in his favor. So now this next one, whether a president can exonerate themselves, is a whole new case that they have to present. So it's a lot going on. There's a lot at stake, and a lot of people are rallied up. Basically, according to NBC News, it says Biden and Trump are tied in the polls. Democrats have mixed feelings about it. Donald Trump is polling even with President Biden and is likely in the 2024 rematch, sparking mixed feelings among Democrats 14 months from Election Day. Some are alarmed by the neck-and-neck race, while Biden campaign officials and other allies downplay the recent polls as meaningless this early in the cycle. But there's one thing that Democratic strategists agree on. An insurrection scheme and a torrent of criminal charges won't be enough to stop the former president and runaway Republican primary frontrunner from returning to the White House. One said despite awaiting trial on 91 felony counts, Trump is a coin flip away from the presidency. Dan Pfeiffer, a former advisor to President Barack Obama, wrote, because of the Electoral College and our highly polarized politics, we should assume that every presidential election will depend on a number of voters smaller than the attendees of a Taylor Swift concert. Man, that man threw Taylor Swift under the bus. At any rate, this is a CNN poll released Thursday found Trump leading Biden by 1 point, 47 to 46%. A Wall Street Journal survey published September 3rd found them tied at 46 each. A New York Times and Siena College poll taken in late July found Biden and Trump tied at 43 apiece. The former president is currently polling stronger against Biden than he did at any point in 2020, where he trailed by as many as 10 points and never came within 3 points in the 538 average. So what does this mean? What should we take from this? I'm going to say this, guys. And as you saw the scroll at the bottom, it said the independent voice. I am an independent. And when I say independent, I mean it in every sense of the word. I once, as a youth, grew up, as most African-American or blacks, as a Democrat. Starting out, I think 18 years old. Of course, mom and daddy say, you're a Democrat. Oh, I'm a Democrat. I bet. So I voted Democrat. As I got a little older and as I began to see things in things that are going on, and especially particularly in the party that I thought I was originally a part of. I didn't care for it. So I've been one that have been known to flip. Sometimes, hey, Democrat, sometimes Republican. Now Democrat. Okay, now Republican, or none of the above. I'll put Jesus Christ on the ballot and let everybody else sort this out and vote on the local issues, who my local sheriff is, who's going to be the commissioner, the county commissioner, who's going to be the secretary of state or my governor. On a local level, I definitely feel like everybody should be involved somewhat on a local level. But I know a lot of people who are a little disgruntled with national politics, particularly when it comes to DC and the White House. Like, we can't get nothing done. It's like we're struggling, you know, as a people, be it gas prices, be it prices of groceries and inflation, be it job and wages. There's not too many things people are happy about right now. And some of you right now are probably lining up in the chat ready to tell, like, yo, Micah, you know what my problem is? I'm mad at this, I'm mad at that. I'm not mad at you. Share it. Go ahead and let it all out, because your voices need to be heard. And I want to read it because, you know, I want to be able to cover some of these type of topics on future shows as we discuss, you know, various things of a political nature as well. But I want to say this, that it's time for people to stop taking their constituents for granted. It's time to recognize that there are an army of people coming up that ain't buying that same old bait and switch. That I could promise you, vote for me, I'll set you free. And then when you get in office, you turn a cold shoulder and like you never knew me. Or, you know, you promising me that you're going to do X, Y, Z, and then it never comes through. A lot of people ain't feeling that no more. And I'm speaking as an independent. I'm just letting you know, as an independent, completely unaffiliated with either party, I will flip in a heartbeat, depending on who I think is in the best interest of what my agenda or my family's agenda is. And the reason why some have to vote that way is because we voted people in and we're left with empty promises. We're left hanging every time. You know what I mean? They promise, oh, we're going to reform this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to change this, or it's going to get better. You're going to be able to feed your family. And these things get worse and worse and worse. Meanwhile, you know, there's two extremes. You're either extremely rich or extremely poor, or headed to one of those two extremes somewhere. So I would, my advice right now to everybody out there and to the candidates themselves is put up or shut up. Make sure that you deliver on your promises, whatever they may be, and that you don't take your base for granted, because it could easily change. I wish there was like a third party that could really like shake things up. And I know some of y'all are saying, well, what about JFK Jr.? You got him. You got the Green Party and all. I know, y'all. I know. But we all know at the end of the day, there's only two parties that are probably going to be at the top, and it's either Republican or Democrat. And based on where your moral values are, where your financial goals are, or what your moral, you know, your lifestyle choices are, whatever, you're going to pretty much vote one of those two, or you're going to sit this one out, whichever you decide. My thing is to try to inform you of what's going on and what I'm hearing in the streets. So I'm going to be following a little bit more closely this year. I'm going to be sharing. I know my earlier time during the show, I had shared when they first had their first debate. I just shared like a little teaser, but I want to actually start getting deeper into these conversations politically. And if you guys want to join me in that, go ahead and leave a comment in the chat. Let me know. And if you have somebody you want me to interview or to talk to politically, I'd be more than willing to do so on either side. Because like I said, I'm an independent. I don't have a dog in the fight right now, but I have to choose one, obviously, or I have to choose none if I don't feel either candidate. So I'm going to be listening very closely to the debates and see who is offering what, who is doing what, and see what aligns best with my personal interest. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into another story, because we've pretty much covered a lot of different things. You know, I mean, we talked about some of everything, and this is breaking news. So we want to make sure that we're covering breaking news and all the different things that go with that. So one of the last stories I think I'm going to share with you guys tonight, I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the screen. This was a meme that I shared on the Micah Dobbins Show platform, and it was on my MySpace channel. It says, background actors realizing their scene was cut when watching the movie. Background actors realizing their scene was cut, while watching the movie. And I know some of you are probably like, what in the world is that? It was hilarious to me, guys. Basically what that's about, for those who don't know, years ago, I was involved in entertainment And I remember before Atlanta became this big film mecca that it is now, it was rare that people were, making films or being in the Hollywood scope. Most of it in Atlanta was music. So like when I moved down here with 92, you had like TLC, you had Criss Cross, you had Kilo Ali, and all those people that were pretty much rocking out. Arrested Development. Those are some of the artists that were jumping in. Jermaine Dupri started with the Criss Cross thing, and then, well, he had stuff before. He produced with Silk Times Leather. But at any rate, he ended up dropping Escape after that and other artists. So coming, into Atlanta, it was more of a music town. LaFace, So Def, Big Oomp Camp, all these people were here. And Free World, Dallas Austin, Project Stark, whatever. But at any rate, it shifted. It shifted now to where we're like a big film capital. I mean, you got Tyler Perry Studios out here. You got Pinewood Studios out here. You got all kind of productions and films that are going on because of the tax breaks, incentives. And we've been giving Hollywood and everybody else a run for their money. Charlotte's been trying to fight with us. I see you, Casey, probably smiling when you hear that. Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina, trying to keep up with the Peach State. But we've been rolling. We've been doing, a lot with the filming. So I had to share this meme knowing that there'll be people locally that will probably get a kick out of it, but more so because of my personal experience in it. I actually did background work in a film. It was a film, and this was before Atlanta became a film mecca. It was like a decent budget film. It actually came out, I think it was in Blockbuster Video and everything, but it was a film called Unshackled. I should have had the name and all the actors, but like I said, it's just a meme story, so we're not actually getting into it that deep. But what ended up happening was me and a couple of friends decided we were going to be in this movie because I was a rapper and I was trying to get my name out and I should get into a movie. So we go and we auditioned for some company at one point. I remember, I forgot the name of the company, but it was like an audition and trying to get a headshot. But me and this group of guys went to be in a movie. We get our little vouchers so we can try to get our SAG membership. And when we got a little voucher, I think they fed us like Varsity or something that was not good. But I recall them saying, hey, we have the perfect scene for you guys, but we need you to shave your beard because you're going to play like inmates in the jail. And I was like, what? I got to shave my beard? Are you serious? Like, people know me from my facial hair. But, back then you just wanted to be in the film. So we did it. Me, a couple of homies, we did it. And after we shaved and everything, we did that scene. And daggone if the next day they wanted to do a scene in a gym. It was at North Druid Hills High School where they were filming these scenes. They wanted to do a scene in the gym in like the 60s, 70s, and they wanted people to have like facial hair and goatees and like, the bell bottoms and the butterfly collars and all that. So I'm like, man, and long sideburns. So now we had to be in the back because we had been there the day before as the inmate scene and shaved all our facial hair off. So like, oh, you guys don't have facial hair. You got to go in the back. We didn't get to be seen. We were in the dark of the back of the auditorium. But my homeboy, Jamel Townsend, JT, his wife, Ortavia, got like the perfect close-up shot. Like they had her like she was pondering as the guy was speaking at the podium. And I was like, man, she got the perfect shot. But as far as the rest of us, we just had this jail riot scene where a fight breaks out in basketball. And the film was like about like the time of segregation. So all of us are on one side, the bro squad versus, the yo squad, the white squad, and we all run out to get into this big brawl. And literally, I thought the way that camera picked up and as big as it was, they got us. Like us just running in there, me and four of my friends in the fight and everything. Man, we go see this movie. We were the blurs, literally like the blurs. Like you just see the sheriff's head and a bunch of yellow people running past. And that was like the squad. I was like, man, you got to like pause it, hoping you could catch yourself. And that was my first movie experience, y'all. And yeah, that's why the meme was funny to me, because background actors realizing when their scene was cut while watching the movie. We weren't seen. Me and my homies was not seen in that movie. JT did meet Ortavia. He got to meet his wife on set. That was cool. And just the experience. But yeah, we didn't get to become Hollywood famous off of that one. I got to do some more television and things later. But as far as the silver screen, the Hollywood thing, that was it for the kid. And it didn't go so well. So I was kind of laughing because I had a lot of people that commented on that story. A lot of them jumped in and kind of shared because they had stories that they have been through. I think I want to go ahead and pull it up so I can shout them out, because I want you guys to know whenever you get on, you know, my platform or you get on what I'm doing, I want to, you know, give you credit and say what's up or give you a shout out, because I appreciate those who do support. I want you to know that. So I'm just going ahead and turn it there now. Here we go. Boom. And I'm going to start by saying what's up to all those who actually came through. Mark Lee. I see Rita Moyer. What's up? Casey Wintons, of course. Tony Washington. That's my niece. I'm tripping. Jerry Miller. Amy Tarver. I also see J.A. Townsend. Owen Otavia. Yep, they're my peoples. We were all there. And this is hilarious. Tavia said, yeah, you got that scene. You're right. She said, yes, I did. You got a real dope shot. And J.A. Townsend, looking at the meme, said, this is exactly how I looked when I saw our big scene was cut. We watched the movie last year with our kids. I saw myself for 0.6 seconds. At least you saw yourself, brother, because I'm telling you, we were the Blur. It was like the Flash. Like, you blink, you would have missed me in that movie. Casey said, yeah, he's sick right now. Amy said, yeah, I know the feeling all too well. Yeah, I know you do. Amy, shout out to her. She's been in a couple of films as well. I thought this was fun to shoot, though. Benjamin Dixon said, yeah, it is fun to shoot there, Ben. You know, it was fun, but, man, we ain't getting no kind of role. And Tony Washington said that is exactly how it is. But I had to let her know, hold on now, you get screen time. Me, Joel, E9, and the crew, we didn't get nothing. At least with you, Tony, you're able to say, hey, you guys can watch a commercial and see me and know I'm actually in this thing. But nah, it was just a funny meme, funny thing I wanted to share. And if any of you have ever been on television, maybe you were on the news, please don't be the one that had the silk bonnet and the rollers in your hair. Tell me, I saw what happened and all that. Please don't let that. But if that is you, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know how that went with you being on television, your 5 minutes of fame, whatever it may be. Me personally, like I said, I've done a couple of other things since then, but now, you know, I'm not really looking to be out there like that. I'm good with just doing the show and doing a couple of other channels from Blaze to Glory and some of the other things I do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode right now of the Micah Dobbins Show. I would love for you guys to go ahead and partner with me. Be sure to subscribe. Go ahead, you know what I mean, hit like, share the videos. I'm going to be doing more videos. We're going to continue to keep this content rolling, so I want you guys to be a part. And again, if you want to donate or help support, you can visit the Judah TV. I have a Judah TV GoFundMe that we're doing, and we would love for you guys to be a part of that, as well as Cashapp, the Micah Dobbins Show. You can shoot me something so I can get my coffee on, because it helps keep me wired and keep me awake, keep me going. But no, other than that, I appreciate you guys, seriously, in all seriousness. Those who have already, because I know at one point I have a good brother named Brother Darion and Sister Tawana, Sister Lamika, wonderful support group. They usually comment or they'll come through. They bought merchandise and shirts, and I really appreciate it. My sister Monica as well as, you know, my sister Amy and Lisa. You know, Lisa actually interviewed me on the Two Honest Moms podcast, and Amy, you know, support. So I appreciate each of you all. Shout out though to all my siblings, Joel, Tommy, as well as Stacy. Love you all, and I appreciate you all. And shout out to my wife Mika for also supporting the movement. And you guys can find me here on YouTube. I'll be airing it as well as Facebook. We're going to be going ahead and working on getting on some other social media platforms. So if you want to intern or volunteer, go ahead and reach out. You can find me at themicahdobbinsshow.com, and you can hit the contact button and leave us a message. We would love to hear from you. With that being said, I appreciate everybody. Make sure you check out my sponsor this week, was Church of God Christian Academy. Go to their YouTube channel. Let your children watch, teaching, educating our young people, which is very important. And until next time, guys, I appreciate it. This is Micah, and I am out.